What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Inside Team Shorty, where I give everyone the reality, the truth, and everything behind the scenes of the sport of MMA. So, a couple days ago, Sebastian was having his first ever tournament, and he's never competed before consistently. Well, the good news is, how about you showing what you got?
The hardware, baby.
So we got the hardware and we got the hats to show. I'm honestly very, very proud. ICAF World Championship Trainer 2019 and the champion himself. So, again, we talked about the nerves coming into it. The first time going into a tournament, again, you can feel nervous, the anxious, the anxiety, all these feelings. Oh, man, my opponent's big. This might be happening. Oh, man, I'm nervous because he's muscular. I'm nervous because of this, and how really you should feel. So, for a recap, if you guys haven't watched the last episode, how do you feel before going in there?
Before going into the tournament, I was nervous, right? You know, anxious, excited to compete finally, but obviously, you know, a lot of uncertainty as to what's to happen, how many fights I'm gonna have, how the brackets are set up. You know, there was so many people too at the tournament. It was good, man. It was good. I felt, you know, anxious, but excited.
And
right?
it's a nerve-wracking thing because honestly, I mean, I get in camp sometimes and right now I don't have a fight lined up. I'm like, man, I just want to fight. And then when the camp starts, I'm like, man, I can't wait till it's over. And then when I get to the arena, I'm just like, I just want to fight and get it over with. Some days I'm just like, I'm so excited to fight, but it's more for the aftermath so I can enjoy myself and enjoy life again. And then once it's over, it's like, I can't wait to do it again. It's
so
like,
funny, that's exactly how I felt, right?
And that's really what it is. But for you, again, for me, I'm a professional most of the time now. It's one fight. But for you, it was different. He ended up being the rat tail. For people who don't know what the rat tail is, there's an uneven number in your bracket, so they have to do a preliminary before the first round. And he ended up being in that rat tail, meaning he had the most amount of fights. So instead of 2, he ended up having to fight 3 times in the tournament. So you fought twice the first day, which we didn't know. We're just like,
right?
Cool, he won. Yeah, we were so excited. We're going to eat, munch, all that stuff. And I was like, oh, dude, you're fighting later today. He's like, oh man, and it's crazy because again, you're paying for the tournament, you're supposed to be excited, and you're just like, I don't want to fight,
Which is ridiculous, right?
And tell him. So let's start slow. How do you feel in your first fight? Again, it's a Muay Thai tournament, so it's very different. Not MMA rules. He's only had 1 amateur MMA fight, but that's pretty much about it. And he wasn't even ready for that fight. They just threw him in there. So let's talk about your first kickboxing fight, and we'll move on to the next one. So how do you feel during, and how do you feel after?
So during, right, we started walking out and everything. We started doing the little warm-up. I wasn't really sure how to warm up.
And everyone's different with that. Me, I'm a guy who likes to relax. Some guys like to burn themselves out. Some guys myself likes to sometimes do a harder, kind of a slight hard one, but just relax. So again, continue.
Nice. Yeah, and then I was honestly looking around trying to see who I was gonna fight. Which I don't know, I don't know if you're even supposed to do that, but that's what all I was worried about, like looking around, see, oh, maybe that guy, he looks kind of my size. And then once they called us up, you gave me those slaps on the back of the neck to get me ready. Oh man, and it was awesome. Went in there, but it was like I almost reverted back. Like, remember what I told you? I almost reverted back to how I fought maybe like a year ago, which is like just at a lower level. It just becomes like a brawl. What I was telling you too, I spar 5-minute rounds. No problem. Yeah, sure, it's exhausting, but it's not an issue. I can do multiple. The fight was 2-minute rounds. It was 3 2-minute rounds, and holy crap!
Yeah,
I was gasping for air. I mean, I had no problem with the guy, and
he was gasping for air after the first round, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" I'm so tired, and he would say it out loud. I'm like, "Dude, don't let your opponent hear that." But he's like, "I'm so tired."
Damn,
I was just like,
really?
Yeah, I was just like, relax, calm yourself down, and some of the things I was telling you were like, dude, control your breathing. It's your adrenaline. And people have this adrenaline dump, and that's why sometimes some people like to get. My college coach was like that. He's like, get this hard one done first, like in your head before the match even starts, so your adrenaline dump can go away, and then go into it. For me, I'm a slow starter, so my first round is kind of like my adrenaline dump, and then I wake up and go. But for you, it just came out all at once because you're not used to it. You were throwing nothing but hard punches, and I'm telling you, like, you can tell he spars with nothing but professional fighters because of the high level he was at. Again, it's one of those things where, like, you spar with these high level people, and you go with the lower ones, you're like, man, you're slow, this is easy. But then you obviously had to attack back, and you're landing a lot more compared to the professional fighters. You're doing a lot more, so you get, I wouldn't say arrogant, but confident that you're striking, you're doing your thing. Then after the rounds over, you're like, damn.
And it was like mostly my legs. Like I felt it in my legs. Like, damn, I stopped being able to move as freely, you know. And I felt that was the adrenaline because, like I said, I spar. I have no problem moving around, doing my thing. But like my legs just felt heavy. It was awesome.
So
it was
again,
amazing.
5 minutes, no problem. 2 minutes, exhausted, but again, a different scenery. You're in front of a crowd, and there was a decent crowd. There's 3 rings. There's a decent crowd. There's people watching you, and he's part of my team now as well. We kind of brought him in, initiated him to Combat Dough as well. Combat Dough, ATT, and Team Shorty. But it's crazy how now you have people watching you. You're emotionally attached. You have the crowd there. You have 3 rings. You have the ref. You have your opponent obviously trying to kill you. And again, you're not facing the same guy 3 times in a row. So after your first fight, obviously you were super happy, super excited, right?
Amazing.
How did you feel in your second fight, and how did that compare to the first one?
Well, we realized that I was fighting. I had a second fight, and then that I had about like 2 hours to like recover and stuff, and it wasn't that bad. But once they called us out, they moved some of the fight. There was 3 rings, so they moved some of the fights up. Remember, I didn't even get a chance to warm up. It was like, okay, guys, it was fight like 33 was up, or fight 30 was up.
So
and
the second
34.
ring was already done with all their bouts, and he was strictly on ring 3. But because ring 2 was done, ring 1 and 3 were coinciding and going into that ring every once in a while when they had room. So they're like, Sebastian, you're being moved up, and he didn't get to warm up. So he's like, oh man.
Like now they started yelling at us too. That was good. And then I saw the guy. He was pretty tall, right?
Yeah. And
I was, I started trying to get into my head, but then because of you, man, I was just like, whatever, just focus on what you have to do. It's 6 minutes. Since there's a 2-day tournament, you told me, you're like, do you want to fight tomorrow? Do you want to be here tomorrow? We came all this way, fucking drove 3 hours. Your teammates are here, everything, man. Are you gonna fight? Are you gonna, do you want to fight tomorrow? And I was like, of course. So he's like, okay, 6 minutes, go out there and do your thing. That one was more of a brawl too, but it did feel better than the first one, cardio-wise, even though I was still exhausted.
It's a crazy thing with the science of the sport. Again, the adrenaline dump, plus you're facing so many different style opponents. Like, your very last opponent was more Muay Thai based. Yeah. Your second opponent wanted to box him more, even though he was super long, didn't really use his length properly. And your first opponent was kind of more of a kickboxer, you know? So everyone was different. Everyone, different size, different style. Obviously, different people in general, different condition. Your last guy got exhausted. Your second guy just kept coming forward. So again, it was very, very different. You handled every single one well. The reason why I tell people to do these tournaments is because you have to adapt. Even though in regular fights, you're fighting only one person, they might be just that much better. And you're mainly in MMA, it's all these different styles. Just like today, a kickboxer, more of a boxer, more of a Muay Thai guy, a brawler. So when you fight in MMA, sometimes you're like, man, I'm a brawler, I'm facing another brawler. All right, honestly, he's doing a Lineker. He's beating me up a little bit. All right, I have to manipulate a little bit. I have to be more of a wrestler. I have to be more with this. So it's the same thing what you did today. You weren't doing the same style with every single one of them. Some you threw more kicks. Some you threw more hands. Some you threw more hooks and flashy stuff. So again, it was different. So we ended up, winning the first 2, and then we sleep. Which it was huge. And I was like, oh, thank God he made it to tomorrow. And when I'm talking to him, again, I'm trying to be as realistic as possible, for all you coaches listening. And again, as a fighter coming to it, I'm pretty sure most of the coaches have the experience as well, is I need to be real with you. And sometimes being real sucks. Like, you have to be truthful. You have to be sometimes brutally honest and go, dude, you're fine. You're just really, really tired. You're messing yourself up. How many times did I tell you it's you mentally? And that's all it is. Enemy. You're your own worst enemy or your best friend. That's 100% what it is. And it's honestly,
that's the lesson of the trip, honestly.
It's self-sabotage sometimes what you can create for yourself. Like you were saying, you're looking for your opponent, you're looking for the tall guy. And when you look for your opponent, again, it doesn't matter. You're going to fight him anyway. So what's it matter how he looks? What's it matter what he does? You're going to step in there, you're probably going to punch him in the face. So what's the matter? You're going to punch him in the face too, unless you play nothing but defense. If you're too scared, you're going to just be like this. And I've had those times. Or you're too careless and like, I don't care what he looks like. I'm just going out to the fight, and you're going to get beat up. You need to be that somewhat in between. Again, I have my videos about that, where you need to be smart and do what you need to do. But again, it's all yourself. You've trained for this moment. There was no guy in your category that was much better technically, right? But what was your biggest problem? It was conditioning. It was you mentally. And how many times did I almost lose my voice just yelling at you? Because again, and this is not being mean. And I learned this in sports psychology, is obviously the sandwich theory is good, bad, good. The good thing is your technique was way above these guys. The bad thing was your conditioning sucked. Why? Because it was just your adrenaline dump. This is the first time you're not used to it, and that's perfectly understandable. You're not used to it. It's your first time, but you literally came through it and still did what you needed to do to win your fight. So again, congratulations. This is why you have a trophy, the hat, and I have a hat. So thank you. But it's a learning process, you know. But if I have to be brutally honest, you could have knocked out every one of those guys.
I know I could have finished all those guys.
But I can
100%.
tell you, I can tell you the same thing when I watch my old fights. I'm like, man, I could have done that. I could have done this. I could have done that. But did you try your best? Yeah, right? You tried your best. So there's nothing you could have done at that moment. Like, yeah, obviously there's this, that. But at that moment, you thought you did and gave it your best. Perfect. That's all that matters. Compared to, like, again, I had my fight with Alex Perez where I just didn't care and didn't try. And I went out there at my worst and I lost. And now, even today, you know, a year later, actually exactly a year later, I still regret every moment. Even though I've already fought and won, even my first amateur fight, that one I tried my best. I still have my mistakes. I regret the loss. You know, in some other fights, I still regret the loss. The loss is always going to stay with you. You always think about it, but you need to overall make sure that you're trying your best. And if you did, so be it. I gave it my all. But if you just give up because you're creating self-sabotage or this or that, like I've done plenty of times before, then you're really going to be upset with yourself. And I'm really happy with the way you performed because you gave it your all. There was nothing else you could have done. If you would have lost that last fight, then, hey, man, you won 2 fights. You went 2-1, still winning record. You're in the rat tail. You did your thing in your very first tournament. You won your very first tournament in the novice division. That's amazing. And now next year, because he had 3 matches and the champion, you automatically have to enter the open, which is any record. The guy can be, you know, 3 fights in, or you can have 20 fights. You know, so it doesn't really matter. Now that just depends on you and how much you want to train to that moment. Now, you know, again, and we already know about the next day. I'm pretty sure it's the same story where, yeah, you had your adrenaline dump, you did your thing, Shorty's yelling at you, yada, yada, yada. But what's your plan? Like, are you happy you came here?
100%. This was such an amazing experience. Everything. Just getting the competition, going through the process, having to make weight, having 3 different styles of fighters that I got to verse. Like, when am I going to get that opportunity to fight 3 different people with 3 different styles?
Realistically, too, trying to beat you up, not sparring with different guys.
It's not the same. It's not. It really isn't. They're trying to take your head off, and like you have to perform and do your thing. It's awesome. It's awesome. And then we got to travel too on top of everything.
We're going to Universal tomorrow.
Yeah, we met a bunch of cool people. Yeah. Combat Doe, freaking awesome. Master Bob.
I like those guys.
He doesn't.
And what else? What else?
No, man.
Anything else? Just it's a huge learning experience, and
so much. No, I have to go home and run, and get used to that adrenaline.
And I can tell you this, and that we talked about this earlier at the table. So I had all 7 guys or 6 guys that competed, and I told them, I go, honestly, every single year is a different story. You know, some win, some lose, whatever the case may be, but there's always a different group of guys. It's never the same exact group of guys. Why? Some people don't have money. Some people don't go in the gym anymore. Some people stopped training. Some people just didn't, whatever the case may be. But after every tournament, every single guy says, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. That was awesome. I want to do it again. Even all the guys who lost, I want to do it again. That's amazing. But actions speak louder than words. I'm going to be here next year if you're going to be here next year. If these guys are going to be next year, that's awesome. But most guys make up some type of excuse and don't come. There's a lot of wasted potential. I mean, from the guys that you remember in high school that were jocks, that were amazing athletes, and they didn't go to college, it's like, all you had to do is go to school. You probably could have been a great professional athlete, whatever you chose to do, wrestling, baseball, football, but you were dumb. And I'm trying to be, as sensitive as possible, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you were egotistical, or you didn't have the money, or you just didn't want to try. How many people, from ATT, and again, it's not shining ATT whatsoever, but from my gym too, from other gyms that I know, how many people from ATT were saying they want to go, they want to go,
Yeah, so many people, they told me they want to go, they want to come with me, that, I'm going to get the days off. What, a tournament? That's awesome. How much is it? Where is it? Oh, it's not bad. Let's go. This and that. But then when it comes, time gets closer, they stop saying stuff, and they disappear. I'm not, worried about them. So I'm trying to focus on myself. At the end of the day, it was just me, right?
And the thing is, you have your coaches, and that's all you need for the thing. As long as you have your coach. Sometimes, again, I went to so many off-season tournaments. I just did it myself, and you have to be able to coach yourself and adapt and know, okay, maybe these are the things I need to do. Watch the film and recap yourself, and it really is a profession in that on its own. But you're gonna go to the gym Tuesday, and people obviously are going to congratulate you, which I've had in social media. Thank you guys so much for supporting him.
So much.
But
thank you.
A lot of guys are going to tell you, and you're going to see it, and it's going to be awesome. I want to do that tournament next year with you. Man, I should have gone. I'm going to do it next year. And next year comes, and they're not going to do it. Why? Because it's just this, but not enough this. This is the sport. Then why are you at the gym? If you're doing it for just cardio kickboxing or this or that, self-defense, sure, good for you. But if you want to test your skills and you do want to be a professional fighter, mainly a professional fighter, again, if you're doing 100% MMA, because you're a black belt jiu-jitsu doesn't mean you're going to be a MMA champion. It's jiu-jitsu, that's great, but this is MMA. Now you're getting punched in the face. Now you're getting kicked, elbow, knee, stuff like that. You're a great kickboxer, but what if you get taken down? All right, so you need to do different tournaments. What I was telling Sebastian is, don't just do kickboxing. Try Muay Thai, try jiu-jitsu, try this, try that. So try to implement different things and say, screw it, if I lose, who cares? There's no pride in it. This is 100% practice. Again, your amateur career is practice. This is your resume. Hey, I tried this, didn't work, but I kept trying it and I kept trying it compared to everyone else who didn't try and don't have a resume. You know, it is experience. Even when you lose, again, you won, and there's a lot of things to work on, which is something I'm super excited for. But if you would have lost, it would have been that much more. But at least we have a nice little window to go, this is what I need to work on, go into the next tournament, and see where it goes from there. I'm telling you, there's a new group of guys every single year, and I'm hoping, everything works well. Obviously, things pop up, but everything works well. You're able to come back next year and see where it goes, and this next year will be an open division, So we'll see how that, time will tell, and you're going to be sparring with professional athletes again. Now you have some things to work on against them, against some really high-level guys. Not just myself, but Pedro, Formiga, and all these, Joanna, all these people. It is a learning experience. How I know Steve Bruno's proud of you and all these guys. So we're happy that...
Shout out to Coach Steve Bruno.
Steve Bruno, hey. But, I'm extremely proud that you gave me an opportunity to sponsor you. It's huge for me.
It's huge for me,
and
man.
that you took it. A lot of people, I try to help and go, hey, you should do this. I sponsor people to, stay in gyms. And then they don't go. And I'm like, then why am I paying for you to go to the gym? What's the point? So again, guys, if this is your sport, make it your sport.
When you give me the opportunity, when you asked me, that's how I felt. I'm like, how could I turn this down? This is incredible from freaking Shorty. Like, I have to bust my ass in the gym every single day. I cannot let this guy, that professional fighter, give me the opportunity to come out and compete. He's gonna pay for my tournament and everything.
I'm still standing on my bill. No.
Oops.
It's huge though, man. It really is, and it's like, again, some guy asked me to sponsor him earlier, and I'm more than happy to. But if things happen for me, again, I'm Mr. Yes, and I'm more than happy to help if I can. But it's a process, and you guys out there need to listen to Sebastian and myself. Again, I'm trying to give you guys the amateur experience. You already know mine. I was 26 fights in as an amateur, just in MMA alone, hundreds in kickboxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, and so many different things. But he's just beginning, and so should you. And you should obviously give it a try and just keep on going. But is there anything else you think from the tournament that stood out to you yourself that you think would be good for people to know, or just advice or anything whatsoever?
Man, just come out, just do it, get the experience. Don't, you're gonna be nervous. Everyone's nervous, it's a fist fight,
Fisticuffs.
It is, but whatever. Like you said, it's only 6 minutes. It's only whatever minutes that you have to do. It's only whatever rounds that you have to do. Just go in there and get it over with. This is what if you're competing. If you come all the way out here for something, it's because you love it. If you're training every day, it's because you love it. And if it's what you love to do, then what better way to do it than compete, man? Test yourself against other people, different styles, different martial arts. It's amazing.
You got to do it. And guys, if you want to support the foundation, again, I help people like Sebastian. I help people, amateur fighters, low-level pros coming up that need the money, that need to have the money to stay in the gym or compete or get these experiences like this. Again, this is a memory that Sebastian and myself for sure never going to forget.
I'll never forget this.
And it's a huge thing. If you guys want to support 100% of my foundation, all my earnings from my t-shirts, sweaters, hats, all this stuff is teamshorty.com. Again, all of it goes to people like him. And it's not just, oh, cool, I know him, I like him, I'm going to sponsor him. It's people who give back in the community, who help pay it forward. Sebastian actually doesn't just go in the gym, train, and okay, cool, I'm going to work. He goes in the gym, trains, and goes, does anybody need help? Oh, Bruno told me to go with this guy. Cool, more than happy to help. Oh, you want to need to help this guy? Oh, Shorty needs help. This guy woke up one day before he went to school to come help me. And it's like, you don't have to do that. That's all. I didn't know that. I thought I was working with Bruno, and that's amazing. That's why I was like, dude, I'm more than happy to help you if you need. Again, you help. I've helped in my gym. Other people have helped. If you help and ask for nothing in return, and technically if really haven't gotten anything in return, here, somebody will pay it forward. Karma will come in the positive way that I believe it does. And for me, I hope it's obviously helped you, and it's a huge thing, guys. So again, if you're able to support TeamShorty.com, and also a big thing, I'm actually looking for a MMA gear sponsor, MMA gloves, boxing gloves, shin guards, headgear, stuff like that. I'm trying to fund these guys and donate some gear. If you guys want to do that, I'm obviously a foundation. I want to be able to help you guys in your business as well. These guys promote it. I will promote it as a sponsor for them, and I appreciate it so much, guys. Again, thank you for so much all the love for Sebastian. Follow him as well on Instagram, and I left the description down below. But I appreciate the love and support. That trophy in the back looks awesome. These hats, a little big on me, but I feel cool. I'm very, very happy. And hell, hopefully it happens next year. And this was actually my last episode of season 2 on YouTube. I'll be moving over to Rockfin, ROKFIN, exclusively, and I'll be interviewing a bunch of people. My first interview and my first episode will be with Dan Hardy, why he retired, why he didn't come back, and also why I'm not back in, why I got cut and why I'm not back in the UFC. So guys, check it out, rockfin.com. Subscribe to me, Jose Shorty Torres, and it will be up hopefully in a week. I appreciate the love and support, guys. Thanks so much, and this was another episode of Inside Team Shorty.